Hi there, welcome to the Noah Presgrove case, continuing on with what went down last night. It was quite heated, there was a lot of activity in the live chat, responses back and forth, which is positive to see. Whilst it may have been chaotic, we need to continue on today. Bit of a follow-up in regard to a Facebook conversation. Donna Bond has spoken out since and added on with additional thoughts and maybe answering some questions. I want to look at that perspective, react to it in the moment live and raw, and give my additional thoughts on the matter. And be sure to stick around further today because I need to nail it down and make it clear as in the process of the food chain. Not just a rumour, not just with Carter, not just with a accident, but the bigger picture overall. How far back does it stem to? You know, the beginning of this case, the beginning of the Facebook groups and the origins of problems and issues. People will focus on issues and problems in the present, but they won't consider the past, and that's where it can stem back from. Some things can be deep rooted. Some problematic people in the eyes of others, it may be misunderstood in a way, as in they were once in a position of the previous person and now the roles have changed and people have made mistakes along the way, and some that have should know better and be more lenient to others. But there seems to be a bit of a neglect, just like the coverage that I've done in my, on my channel with the case and key findings and observations. There has been neglect with time. And what I mean by that is, whether that just be because people choose not to watch because they've made their minds up already, that's unfortunate. In other circumstances, it comes down to YouTube, unfortunately, in the notifications not sending. So when I pick up on important details or new findings or links, it doesn't always get the correct awareness. So for anyone that is able to watch this video and even during the live premiere, that's good to know and appreciate that. Welcome to everyone watching at any point or time. For those watching the live premiere, share your thoughts and live reactions in the chat box on the right side of the screen there in the chat. And at any point or time, if you have additional questions, thoughts, theories, more than welcome to drop a comment down below under the video. It will help with spreading awareness, new discussions and ideas. And down below in the comments, there'll be a pinned message if you want to support my channel. If you want to catch up on the recent videos of mine with this case, if you've missed out on anything, don't worry, the full playlist is available to catch up on. Top right corner where the eye symbol is up there. If you click on it, you get the drop down menu box, and then you'll be able to go from there. The order of how we'll do things today, I want to look at one particular screenshot from the live chat last night, which was mentioned by, I think, Casey. I think that's how you say their name. Michael Facecast in regard to Donna Bond. Have a quick look at that. Then head on over to Facebook, look at the comments, the post, and what Donna had to say in addition. Of course, it had got heated, but it's one of those things. It's not just by one, it can be by a range of different people. This is a thing you've got to acknowledge at the end of the day, whilst some people out there like to make the claims that Warlight Wrath, this channel, is supposedly biased. Explain to me then, why does just about everyone or most have the freedom of speech in the live chat? It's okay, people making the claims of, oh, there's too much bullying and there's too much darkness and it's being taken over. Humans have the choice to not let that happen. Humans have the choice to stand the ground in the name of Noah, in the name of whatever, to keep things from being corrupted or taken over completely. In other words, the live chat, the comment section, has freedom of speech both ways or different ways, meaning it's not biased. One of the core foundations on here, which once again gets neglected. And that might be a particular theme and pattern that you'll notice within the Noah Presgrove case and community, that the neglect of critical thinking, the neglect of the smaller details, the finer print, the neglect of appropriate language and wording at times, the neglect of being patient and questioning instead of just internalizing everything that they see or hear, the neglect of people that they may not get on well with or side with or think are innocent within the case, yet the ones within the case and so on may make valid points or interesting comments, but because people are set in their ways, they kind of glance over it, brush it aside, denying oneself of learning and making progress there. There's a lot of different outcomes with the neglect factor along with the food chain factor, and I'll be explaining it more later. I did briefly touch upon it last night, but I was focusing more so on Donna's comments. Do a bit more of a combination today. Just be sure to stick around. Feel free to sit back, relax, or interact with the live chat. You do whatever you want to do and most comfortable with. And without further ado, let's begin. If you are interested in this live chat, you can go back to the video last night on my channel, look at the live chat replay and watch it all unfold from there. But I just want to focus in on one particular area as you see on screen. Okay? Annoyed mama, I believe is Casey. Oh yeah, Casey or Cassie. Apologies if I say it wrong. But beside that, so you're going to blame Noah's family now, Miss Bond? Question. Donna's response. Here, where have I blamed Noah's family? From what I can remember, I didn't see Donna blaming Noah's family. There was a post or a link in regard to Facebook, but I think that was 2025. It might be in the comment section of a recent post on the case discussion page, could be wrong. And Donna said something about apologising to Noah's family, as in Casey Smith, not Cassie, Casey. And also mentioned about not quite being ready at the time back then to apologise to AC. Don't know if that meant Avery Combs. More likely it could have meant Ashley Chadwick, although that abbreviation isn't used that often. I'm not too sure what that's all about. Cassie, I guess here is suggesting that Donna has blamed Noah's family, but is that just recent? Is that now? In the past? Not too sure. Anyway, you said it came from family and one kid. Right. I said, apologies, if I don't answer all the questions immediately, it's just I'm looking at one line at a time so I don't miss any words. So below it, you said it came from family and one kid. Yeah, I do remember seeing that. Whether that be in the chat last night or some of the conversations, responses, what we saw from Donna. And I think I questioned it as well about what family exactly. Donna said, Cassie has been in both private groups. She has known about the wreck. Now, I can't remember exactly. What's this? Excuse me, I forgot how specific you have to be with some, ma'am. I was referring to my family. Logan Jernigan is a part of my extended family. So, to put it short, Cassie, oh my goodness. It's going to give me a headache this now. I know it's spelt different, but I've been so used to referring to Casey Smith, Noah Presgrove's mom, that now with another viewer, a viewer called Cassie, I'm saying the names all wrong. Oh, goodness. We'll just say annoyed mama, if that's okay. It's easier, so I don't mess it up the same. Right, Cassie has been in both private groups. She has known about the wreck. Right, private groups as in group chat or private groups as in a Facebook page? I know on Facebook you've got pages and then you've got groups. It's two different types of things. But then you've also got group chats, which is through Facebook Messenger. I'm just trying to figure out what type of group this is. Cassie, known about the wreck. Well, once you know about the wreck, if it was Donna that told Cassie back then in 2024, Or are we saying that annoyed mama found out about the wreck in a different group or with different people at a different point in time? What's the situation here? What else do we have? Oh, I know a lot of Donna truths. Yes, ma'am. And then Michael. You know, if Donna Bond wanted to recant, that's fine. If she wants to change your mind on what she thought, she saw, she can. However, there's other people that back up and correlate her original statements. So are you saying, Michael, that with what Donna originally said, that there was a crash which impacted Carter Combs, and that was 2 months before Noah's death and not 2 weeks? Is that what you're saying, Michael? That people can back it up as in it was 2 months before, not 2 weeks again? Because if that was true, then obviously it would wipe it away, as in the counterpoint claim of accident led to a brand new phone of Carter, and that was close to the party, hence why the phone was appearing factory reset when it was just brand new. If there was 2 months apart from the crash to the party, there was more than enough time to fill that phone with photos, memories, contacts, numbers, apps, and all of that, so it shouldn't have been factory reset or appearing new at the time of the party. So it's a bit vague what Michael says, as in there are people that back up and correlate Donna's original statements. But the thing is, Donna's original statements, beside the other people that can back up as in that's what Donna originally said, well, wasn't the whole point of last night's video looking back at what Donna originally said, or parts of what she originally said, and then how it changed because of mistakes made and what she was told previous? Or are you saying, Michael, that Donna's original statements come directly from her and she wasn't influenced by anyone at all? Because if it's just the matter of what we looked at last night, what Donna originally said to annoyed mama on Facebook Messenger, and there are other people that can correlate and say that Donna, what she said last night, as in the past, what we looked at, other people heard it or saw it themselves. It's like, right, okay, what does that really mean then? People can back it up in the past. There might be more than one witness to what Donna said. Fine. That improves the consistency of it all. It would improve the consistency, Michael, that if what we looked at last night and Donna had said, not just to annoyed mama, but to many other people, and it correlates all the same, it just means there's more consistency in more people being told misinformation, wrong information. That's all it would mean, right? Unless you're referring to something else. We need to be a little bit clear and expand on some of these points that are being made. I'm going a bit slower tonight or today because I'm trying to understand what people are meaning here. You know what I'm saying? If there's any updates needed or of any context, you can always leave it in the live chat, and if the right people are watching too. Annoyed mama, Miss Bond, would you please tell me all you have retracted that you told me? And Donna, excuse me, I forgot how... Oh, yeah. Just going back onto that one with Donna's family, Logan, extended family. Right. Go back up this way. So you're going to blame Noah's family now? Blame Noah's... Okay. You said it came from family. Right. So it came from as in the accident, as in the incidents, as in a so-called party, as in so-called alcohol. What, is all of that influenced, Donna, by your family and partially Logan Jernigan extended family? Was it that group of people that gave you the wrong information, Donna? And if they did, why? What was the purpose and the reason behind that? Why would one's own family give wrong information? If that's the way it is. What else? Michael, I'm to the point now where I actually believe this case was meant to be quietly closed without a real investigation. I mean, if that's the case, Michael, has it been quietly closed? Maybe behind scenes it could be like that, but in the public sphere, as in the levels of dissatisfaction, complaints, labels applied to LE, OHP and all that, it seems quite noisy to me. Even if not enough progress is being made, it feels like there's been a bit of a fight back in some ways, people in their own mindsets trying to fight for justice. That's my perspective. Annoyed Mama. So Logan told you, Donna, the wreck story. So Logan is lying then? It depends. Was Logan lying and purposely giving false information to Donna Bond? But why on earth would anyone do that? Especially when they're in it themselves. Why would Logan, who was caught up within this crash or so, say that, yeah, we're drunk from a party? Why would they say something wrong, as in misinformation like that, when it makes them look like, well, it makes the group look bad. It makes them look guilty. It just makes them look bad in general, as in drunk driving, regardless of who's behind the wheel. Drunk people, recklessness, harming other people on the road, collateral damage. Why would anyone make it out that way when you're involved in it, when it wasn't that? Why would wrong information be given? It's a bit weird. I can understand why Annoyed Mama is questioning this. We'll get to it a bit later on, and I'll try and refine it in a way. Michael, I've documented proof that there was enough evidence to get a conviction, but recently learned that at least at this point there will be 0 charges. Is that despite the wrongful death lawsuit as well and the subpoena being granted? Documented proof. Is this documented proof, Michael, what the family already has, as in Noah's family? Have they seen it, heard about it? To get a conviction. You say recently things have changed, or the lack of justice. Right, that's kind of interesting. I've not seen it myself. If anyone else has, feel free to leave a comment below. I think before we get any further with this aspect, we probably should head on over to Facebook to see what has been said in addition and Donna's response, and go from there, because it might tie up some loose ends. We'll see. If you're interested in finding this post, it's on the case discussion group 15 hours ago by an individual called Tyler Smith. I've never seen this person before, Tyler Smith. A new individual encounter. But they said, let me understand, in bold. Let me try and understand this. Donna Bond came out months ago and said that a lot of what she had repeated, she heard from others, and it may not have been truthful. Instead of also acknowledging their information came from what others have said, people like Cassie, Justin, Michael Facecast proceeded to claim that she must have been paid off or threatened to change her mind, trying to make her changing her mind nefarious, like they have everything else. So even after she said this stuff is not true, they still repeated it as if it was true till this day, because they couldn't understand how someone could just change their mind. Justin is still in the army group spreading lies and rumours instead of admitting that the statements he made were false. Casey, said the name wrong again, Burton, Justin, Michael, and anyone else in the groups that have spread these untruths, you need to put your grown-up hat on and admit you were fooled and the things you repeated were lies with 0 evidence to back it up. Right, there's an interesting situation here. It's like jumping off the ship. It appears that Donna isn't the originator of all this. It does stem back further, but people put her at the forefront of it all based on their limited knowledge, supposedly. But it appears that what Donna says, people see it as the truth. When Donna jumps ship or changes direction, says it was wrong, corrects it, the other people don't catch up with that and stay in the past. It's a very interesting dynamic of being stuck in the past, in believing those old truths as still true to this day when they may not be. Why do people stick with that psychologically? I think we'll take a closer look later. Let's see what some have said here. I'm going to try and acknowledge most of them if I can. Brenda, 1 shoe, 2 mismatched shoes, or no shoes, none of which indicates foul play. It's merely different eyewitnesses' accounts. That's how I see it. Fair enough. Andrea, exactly anyone could get that wrong. In fact, it's to be expected. It's to be expected. Interesting, people will 1000% take her word, Donna's, as facts on the shoes, but will pick and choose whatever else she could have gotten wrong. So this is the thing. It appears to be other stuff that Donna has talked about could be considered wrong or mistakes were made and then it was corrected. As said, I looked at specific details last night in regard to that wreck and Carter Combs accident and the phone damage. I looked at that particular event last night with what Donna had referred to and how it was archived from the past. If it stems to other claims and mentions too, like the situation with the shoes, just as a heads up, I've not looked into that at this moment, so I can't comment on it all, just as a heads up. But one thing that I can bring up when it comes to the shoes, let's remember Partners in True Crime, the last interview that they did was the pre-recorded one with Jack Newton. And it was Jack that said Noah had 1 shoe on, 1 shoe off. Different eyewitness accounts. Mistakes could be made, maybe. But providing you've got clear visual perspective on the situation in the moment, how can you mess it up? You know, either both shoes are on or both shoes are off. 1 shoe is on or 1 shoe is off. Surely it would be clear as whether there's a pair of shoes on or not. There's a clear visual factor there. However, if we're just talking about different types of shoes or different shoe colours, depending on the lighting and the distance, it might be hard to tell. It might be clear to say, yes, Noah was wearing shoes, but not quite certain on the brand, the make, the colour. Was it a matching pair? Was it not? Was it an Adidas shoe and a Hey Dude one or something different? Maybe mistakes can be made there, but, you know, when it's other situations like saying, is there a happy, hungry hippo on the highway? Yes or no? Well, its backside's big enough to be able to see if it's there or not. Is it there or not? If mistakes are made about that, it's like, how can you get confused about certain things? You know? Okay, I know there's poor lighting on the highway because there's no street lamps lighting. And it depends timing of when people were there. Those that were there earlier when it was darker may struggle with seeing stuff. Those that were there later or remained onwards may have seen a different perspective. Lighting can play a major role, I'll acknowledge that. Joyce, one person has stated he had 2 shoes on, stated in the beginning he had no shoes, no socks on. Wait, so Joyce, are you referring to an unnamed individual has mentioned that Noah had 2 shoes on, but at the beginning mentioned that there was no shoes on, no socks? Let's just see. Andrea, let me guess, but no one will care that he had discrepancies. Wait, is this Caden Pressey? What? Now, I remember Caden Pressey referring to shoes. I never remember or saw Caden ever mention about Noah having no shoes on, no socks. I'm not surprised about no socks being present because it didn't seem like Noah ever had socks with him, just based on the party footage. Could be wrong, though. Do we have a backstory behind some of this, though? Brenda, another thing, Donna has nicely suggested if people have questions to do so on her personal page, as in her Facebook profile, yet some are still asking questions on this thread. If I truly want an answer to a question, I'm going to do just that. A little kindness goes a long way. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I think that's the thing, Brenda. On and off at times, because Donna may not utilise, or some circumstances may not have access to some Facebook pages or choose not to, it seems like she's doing the silent treatment and people see that as guilty. But if Donna is actively posting on her own Facebook page profile, you know, all the ones that are saying, oh, Donna's quiet, Donna's not saying anything, need to head on over to her Facebook page. In that sense, it's like the equivalent, isn't it? As in, when some problematic people have a go at me on Facebook, do I go out of my way on Facebook and respond? No. I do it on my own YouTube channel. It's kind of like what Donna's doing, as in on her page, but it's on the same platform, whereas me, it's a different platform. And the reasons as to why I do it on YouTube is because my responses and what I have to say personally, regardless of what page it is and how problematic humans are over there, I don't want to clutter the page or the groups on Facebook with all my issues or responses, because it will just clog it all up. It won't do any good. So if I can control the situation, but do it in my own unique space, in my own little bubble, and then people can choose to watch, listen in if they want. And it's very interesting, that, Brenda, because when people do complain or have a go, they make the manual choice to go out of their way to come onto this platform on my channel and then listen in. If it's too disruptive, if it's too messy or too dark, and it's not quite to their standards, either just avoid that one video or just stay on Facebook. Like, that's why I distance myself. I do my own thing. So I'm moving away from the problem in a way, or how I react to a problem, I'm doing it in a controlled way. I'm not infiltrating, I'm not laying upon a siege on a page or anything like that. So that is a key core element which gets neglected. This is the themes of today, the aspect of neglect. Really important. What else? Seeing a deceased person on the side of a highway would put most people in shock. When it's a friend, I think it would be more of a shock. And of course, like with some people like Mikey Lair, who was dealing with PTSD long before the party, could have been re-triggered the moment they saw Noah under certain circumstances, which could have really impacted the memory, could have caused brain fog, self-defense mechanisms kicking in. Tammy, is it true or not that Donna got a text from a younger individual before the 911 calls were made telling her that Noah was dead? Before the 911 calls, so before 5:46 in the morning, before 5:46, would that make sense? From a individual, a kiddo, so what, a party goer, I'm guessing, or someone round about the area? Who would that be? Let's acknowledge one thing, Tammy. When it came to Jasmine Millan, I believe, on a Facebook post or comment section, mentioned, or it might have been Renee Millan, the mother, giving an estimate of the time when Jasmine contacted her, I think, Renee Millan. It was between 5:45 and 6 in the morning. 5:45. And it was 5:46, a 1 minute time difference. Oh, well, that's interesting, that, isn't it? Now, of course, with what Renee said, it was a rough estimate and she never gave a specific time. It might just be a coincidence, but is it something that we need to look into? I wonder. But the thing about, is it true or not that Donna got a text from one about Noah's being dead, and it was said earlier before the 911 calls? I've never seen that before. Has anyone else? I mean, Donna, are you aware of this claim or this rumour? Did you get a text or not? If you're present, you're welcome to share your thoughts. There's no response at this minute, but it was 2 hours ago by Tammy, so it could be updated later by the time I've finished doing this video recording. Adina, there's no way Donna made everything up that she said. She was very detailed. Well, this is the thing, Dina. I don't know if I might get mixed up with names. I'm not sure if Dina detests me or not, but regardless, one thing that needs to be made clear is that in the Kenny Veach case, there were so-called experts that showed up and they went into great detail, not just for a day, for days, for weeks, and maybe months. They went into detail with specific times, years, months, details on who was there, what they were doing in the desert, the landscape, encountering certain specific items, and in the end, supposedly, it all turned out to be made up. So if people can go to such great lengths in making things up, what's stopping the idea from the Noah Presgrove case then? And I'm just talking in general about that, right? Anyway, making everything up. A lot of what she claimed to have seen or heard it herself, so I don't think she was just repeating rumours. What would be the point of making all that up? Someone or something got her to back down. Not even Donna could change my mind. Right. So Dina's on the idea that Donna was being truthful. And when Donna said she made mistakes and it was wrong and she was apologising, she was falsely apologising because supposedly she had no choice but to apologise because they were forced to be silent. What Donna was supposedly saying originally was the absolute truth. But then if that's the case, it's a big contradiction, because if Donna was told about some of that stuff, or most of it, by her family, and even if it includes Logan Jernigan, if Logan was giving any wrong information or the right information to Donna, and then Donna was silenced for it, then was Logan silenced as well? If they were a part of the dark side, what's going on here exactly? That's crazy if you think anyone would make Donna back down. Small town gossip at its best. You believe her first story because it aligns with what you already think. Yes, there is that emotional connection which we need to highlight. If she heard it, then she's not making it up though. She's repeating what she heard. Yeah. I think what Dina's referring to, Andrea, isn't just what we talked about or looked at last night, but on a bigger picture of more things that have been said. And as I say, I've not listened or seen everything because I like to focus on little bits at a time so it doesn't get overwhelming. It could be true, or it appears true, that what we covered and discussed last night is what Donna was influenced by another person elsewhere, different people. Does that same practice apply with all the other stuff and information which Donna has talked about? And if it's those Netflix documentary interviews, does it apply there as well? Beyond. Because this kind of influence is back to a few days ago when we had Pam Feldman-Garrison that used a snippet or a part of the Donna's video or clip. We're talking about the accident, the wreck, Carter, without names clearly mentioned, or maybe, no, I think the names were mentioned, and then a separate incident with that social media guy that was following the party goers about, which was separate. That's what sparked it. Justice for Noah, whoever that person is, tagging Donna, say it was a hit and run. Someone passing through ran him over and kept on going. How did the mismatched shoes get on him? I think what Justice is implying here is that if it was a hit and run, would you expect the shoes to stay on? Because surely they would have been knocked off in the process. I think that was an argument that was mentioned in the past as well by a variety of people. Sherry, how's she supposed to know? She said from the video you don't comprehend that it looked like he didn't have any on, or maybe only one. Go ask a cop the question. Right, so this is really expanding on from last night and beyond with additional information which I've not fully looked at myself. Snippets that I would have heard, mentions of what? Footage of the scene, I think, maybe. And Noah, and as like Laura Dutton was referring to in the past, pink fluffy slippers, which Donna claimed to have seen through certain footage, and pink fluffy slippers would make you think Avery because of the birthday girl and what she was wearing at the party, supposedly. If all that is wrong information, who was Donna influenced by that then? What do you want me to say? I didn't see any shoes. Could he have possibly been wearing shoes? Yes. I wasn't focused on his feet. I can't speak for Jack. I can't speak for other people that were there at the scene. I can only speak on what I saw. I didn't see any shoes. Doesn't mean he wasn't wearing shoes. Just means I didn't see any shoes. Why is it so hard to understand? Right, okay. I am starting to remember it now. Yeah. You know, you had Caden Pressey, from his point of view, saying he was shown footage from what Kathy Bingham had, in which it was passed on to her by a truck driver, a witness that tried recording it, and it showed supposedly police officer and volunteer firefighters present, and the police guy was taking the shorts off Noah, No mention of the shoes, but there was adjustments being made there. Moving on to the shoes, you got Donna Bond referring to seeing footage, if I'm correct in saying, and it showed no shoes on Noah's body. Is it possible, excluding Caden Pressey, because that's deemed as foul play if it's true, which has been countered since, and Kathy Bingham had said, I never had the video of it, so I don't know what Caden's on about. If we're just referring to Donna Bond, is it possible that what Donna witnessed in regard to Noah not wearing any shoes could be true depending on the time it was done? Like, if what Donna saw is the post collection of evidence, you know, if certain authorities came on down, bagged and tagged evidence of Noah personal possessions and anything at the scene, taking certain items off and then bagging it up for evidence and processing later, did Donna see footage of the after events of that? And that's why it appears that Noah had no shoes on. That he did have shoes on originally, but once police got there, Emmy and whoever else, they took the shoes away from Noah to be tested. Is that possible? I guess it depends on the time scale. Is there a timestamp, Donna, as in this footage? Was it before or after police were present and certain actions were conducted? Just as this is what everyone means by getting attacked for asking questions or having a different opinion. Oh. Very frustrated, yes, not attacking. You've posted the same screenshot at least 4 times trying to cause an issue. Donna cleared it up. Right. So what Donna was clearing up, what we focused on last night, was specifically about the wreck, the accident, and so on. This is other things. Donna, it's okay, a handful at my best. Aggravate the out of myself. It's one of the many given, just like, okay. Let me post it again then, because that's not what she said. She said the video I've seen, Noah didn't have nothing on, no shoes, no shorts. Right. Can I click that if it'll allow me? Noah Presgrove Army page, November 10th, 2024. Well, the year matches up with Cassie's conversations with Donna in Facebook Messenger, as in the year at least. So back then, Donna said to Joyce Bergau, what was said is the video I saw, Noah didn't have anything on, no shoes, no shorts. Right. I mean, is it easy to tell whether a person's wearing shorts or not through a video? I guess it depends on the lighting, maybe. If it's super, super dark and it's like a silhouette of a person, there's no movement, it might be hard to tell if they're wearing shorts, shoes. If there's lighting and it's clearer, you should be able to tell the difference, I would argue. Right, no shoes, no shorts. Caden Pressey was the one that said shorts were taken off Noah's body from the footage that he claimed to have seen by the hands of Kathy Bingham. And Donna Bond back then was saying no shoes, no shorts. So it seems like what, basing it off in a hypothetical situation, if what Caden Pressey witnessed was true, likely what Donna Bond saw as in footage was after the footage of what Caden witnessed in that order. If it's along the lines of what Caden witnessed wasn't true, but what Donna witnessed was true, how's that possible? I refer back to the argument of, is it because what Donna saw as in footage was post-event of evidence being collected, meaning Noah Presgrove was left completely with nothing on him. But then again, what we do have to acknowledge, white shorts in the middle of the road. If that's all Noah had with him at the time and they were in the middle of the road, he would have been found without anything on. So, yeah. No shoes, fam. If he was seen with no shoes on, where were those shoes at that moment? Were they by the side? Were they taken away? Try and get out of this if I can. There we go. What aren't you getting? How's she supposed to know how his shoes got on him? Right. So I think what Sherry's referring to here is Donna witnessed something, and that's what she witnessed. That's all she can say. She doesn't have all the answers, as in what happened before, what happened after. All she knows is based on what she's seen, even if it doesn't quite make sense or it stands out too much. Well, to be fair, if that is the case, well then Donna Bond would then be in a situation like Caden Pressey, saying something after witnessing something which stands out from what other people say. Now, there's that to consider. What else do we have? You guessed it, that's exactly what I'm trying to do. Make an issue in a case that's already a complete mess. Right, that's just going on. Right. Oddly enough, I never asked you. You inserted yourself in the question. Oh boy. The one that actually saw the video, the direct source, I didn't need answers to the shoes, as I believe Donna is correct about that part as well. Like she said, it'll come out in court. I also 100% believe the family and their attorneys are sitting on information that none of us are privy to. I mean, they've had the subpoena, so that might help. I believe FBI have made an appearance and they're about to come in like a wrecking ball. What makes you think that exactly? Have we seen anything? Donna adds in, I'm not trying to convince anyone of anything. How I worded something then, how it was sent in, how I say it now may be completely scrambled, but they all come to the same point. But it's odd that that's what you find suspicious when clearly you've missed something entirely different that was spoken about. That's what I find odd. Something else I find interesting is that some of the stuff still going on could have been stopped long ago, as in other mistakes made and other people haven't updated that. Right. What matters is someone did in fact put the shoes on him, which means foul play was involved. Right. I mean, based on the autopsy report, based on the news articles and so on, it was mentioned that Noah was found wearing a pair of shoes. Mismatched or not, from the looks of it, mismatched. So what Donna saw, no shoes on. Yeah, okay. Well, this is the thing, Justice, and everyone else, feel free to listen in. Donna may have seen something different compared to what other people saw or how it's been documented. But people jump to the conclusion that what Donna saw must have been earlier on, in a way, and that the foul play took place for it to later appear that Noah did have shoes on. Why not look at it the other way around and no foul play involved? As in, Noah originally found with the shoes, reported and documented, and then if the shoes were taken away afterwards for processing, evidence retrieval, then some footage was taken post-event, Donna saw it, and that's why Noah wasn't wearing the shoes. If the police took the stuff away, or the authorities did, then that's not foul play if it's been processed and done correctly. It ultimately comes down to the timestamp and the order of that particular footage that Donna witnessed. It doesn't have to just be one way, it could be the opposite. As in, the shoes came first and then they were taken away. That doesn't have to be foul play. But what people are jumping to emotionally are thinking, shoes came later, earlier, they weren't present, so foul play is involved. Staging. Okay. Interesting. What else? How so? He put his own damn shoes on. As in Noah. I mean, you could ask the question, what prompted Noah to put on a mismatched pair of shoes? What happened to Noah's other shoe? Exactly. Cindy, so sad how this group has turned like others. Right. Okay. This is what made me believe foul play. Not Justin, not Pam, not whoever else. Y'all don't get along with you because he was found by whoever with mismatched shoes on, or according to JN, only one shoe. Well, there we go. It's interesting. So what? What more do you want? She's apologised for repeating rumours. But that's the thing. If Donna witnessed a video And I said, I'm trying to use my memory. Apologies if there are some mistakes, okay? I'm just doing what I can in this moment. But, you know, with what we looked at last night, that could be interpreted as from what she was told by other people, influenced with wrong information. But if Donna had witnessed something firsthand, like Caden Pressey, with footage, material or photos firsthand, what's said is based on what you've witnessed. So if Donna has seen a video, whatever she says from that video, based on what she can remember or how she interpreted it at the time, that's from her own mouth, right? It's not repeating rumours under that circumstance. How is it rumour if she literally is saying she saw it? Right, so this person is on the wavelength as me. Let's just get an idea of the responses. Are you intentionally not understanding the video of the shorts doesn't exist? The shorts is to do with Caden Pressey. The shoes is to do with Donna Bond. Justice for Noah is talking, I guess, about the Donna Bond shoe video situation, if I'm correct in saying. Anyway, the video Donna is talking about and explained millions of times is one from a volunteer firefighter, and it shows Noah laying there. She said people were saying things in the background, the end. Right. So this footage from the point of view of a volunteer firefighter, what timestamp is it? Could it be once evidence was collected and taken away, leaving Noah completely void of his possessions, including the shoes? You get what I'm saying? It's a little bit of a mess, but it's fine. What's this one? Oh, I wasn't asking you. What's this? Screenshots. We're trying to have a conversation. Right, okay, let's just move on. That one again. Page not available. Oh. What's going on here? Dodgy Facebook, yet again. What does Donna say here? I said, and everyone else knows what I said. What's your point? There's only ever been one video until Kathy Bingham, the nutbag, tried to play a deceptive game with people that didn't involve me at all or other folks claiming they've seen a video in my home of his clothes being removed. Lie 100%. Right. Well, the mention of clothing being removed, footage, Kathy Bingham, is from Caden Pressey, what Caden said. So we're saying Caden lied about that, but then Donna is talking about Kathy being a nutbag, but Kathy is the one in more recent time that had not sided with the dark side, but along the lines of calling Caden Pressey out. So it's really fragmented, this. It's an absolute disaster, but as much as it may give other people a headache, for anyone watching right now, if you're concerned, if you're confused, if you're frustrated, it's all under control. It is with me. I can work it out bit by bit. We'll get to the conclusions later, right? I probably should write it down, to be honest. In somewhere, I should write it down here. Kathy Bingham, Caden Pressey footage, how it differs to Donna. What Donna saw was actually seen, supposedly. What Caden Pressey saw, which Kathy Bingham's suggesting and others, was made up. But, interesting. Sounds like foul play is involved. It wasn't a hit and run based on the video you saw, since he was found with shoes on. But Donna said she saw no without shoes. Oh boy. How do you know that based on what I saw it wasn't a hit and run, or maybe not a traditional hit and run? But how do you know that the damage caused to that young man wasn't done by a vehicle, and you don't think this was all play out in court? Believe it or not, I found the video quite suspicious myself because of one aspect until I pitched and found out why. That'll also come out in court. Right, so there are some things that Donna knows about but can't say public from the looks of it. Interesting. Believe it or not, it won't come from me, but it will definitely explain why a lot of us thought it was odd. So it's just a matter of waiting and seeing what comes about. Why would anyone else go to the extreme of putting shoes on him after finding him on the road, and for some person that ran him over? Doesn't make any sense. But how do we know the order followed in that way, as in first no shoes, then later found with shoes? Why can't it not be found with shoes and then later seen with no shoes because the evidence has been taken away to be processed? Unless the timestamp says different, which I'm not aware of, then okay, fair enough. So we're kind of going around in circles. Someone said about sucking. Oh boy, that's not a goat. Anonymous. Noah's relatives or someone else didn't place them back on his feet? Oh no, who's to say that Noah's relatives or someone else didn't put them back on his feet? It may be strange, but sometimes people will do things because even in death, some will do things because they are still feeling as though they're taking care of them. Well, yeah, I get that, as in maybe putting a sheet or a blanket over someone or closing their eyes to make sure that they're at peace, at rest or warm. I get that bit. The shoe situation, though. Well, look, this is the thing, anonymous member. If anyone did do that with the shoes, wouldn't there be touch-based DNA on it? From the autopsy report, didn't really seem to see much acknowledgement of that. No, touch-based DNA was acknowledged in the autopsy. So what, people are specially wearing gloves? Andrea, how do you know what Donna saw was accurate? She may not have saw the shoes, but there was shoes, or vice versa, kind of like how Caden saw shorts. Witnesses aren't always accurate. I look at the shoes the same as you could look at Caden wanting to get the shop towel to cover him. Right, okay. What's this one? Jackie Bingham, whoever that is. Donna Bond. It was just a video of Noah on the ground and you could hear people. That's all I really want to say about it, if you don't mind. Right. What else do we have? Do you know what I find really interesting? No one has ever even thought to ask me why after other things come out that I found the video suspicious. And boy, howdy, did I ask questions. Did I push buttons with LE? I did. Most everything has a simple explanation. Right, so are you suggesting, Donna, that what you originally saw seemed suspicious, no shoes, so you questioned about it and pushed, and then what? Ellie said, oh, we took the shoes away to be processed, and that's why what you saw was the after effects. Imagine if it was that. Please, let's keep the insanity on my personal page. So, Donna wants responses, drama, or questions, suspicion, all that to be aimed on her own Facebook profile and not the page. It's quite a selfless act, that, which is a positive. Now we might have some additional context here by Donna. I don't know what Noah's family has seen as far as Kathy Bingham. That woman's crazier than I am and a danger to all parties involved. Really? Especially these young adults. Everyone heard her exploit a young man that's already on the edge. Which young man on the edge? Caden Pressey, because he was seeking therapy at one point? Mikey Lair, because he's got PTSD? Who is this? Do I believe a video exists of his clothes being removed by law enforcement or firefighters? Absolutely not now. If Noah's family has seen otherwise, that's on them. Had I seen something like that, I wouldn't have called LE. I went straight to the source and probably ended up in the penitentiary over it. Oh no. So Donna Bond's going to get locked up with chains. What happens to the teeth though? Oh no, Donna, you left them behind. What are you going to be doing? You're not going to be able to nibble those chains, are you, with your gums? My goodness. Should have thought about that. I went straight to the source. Right. I know the men that work this county, and most of them I've known 30 years or better, not above getting up in their face either. I feel they've done something to put one of these kiddos in harm's way. They have. Oh. No, ma'am, I didn't. I think Donna's responding, but not directly to comments. That's why it's separate within the thread. I didn't redact anything. I've never seen a video of Noah's clothes being removed by anyone. And at least to my knowledge, and I was never aware that Donna had in the first place. I was always aware that it was Caden and only Caden that saw that exclusive supposed footage, which Kathy Bingham said never had. Anyway, I don't have first-hand knowledge of anyone being called before 911. The only information I have pertaining to that is what I was told. What I apologise for was for the coming out of the gate, swinging before any of you other people were ever involved, before any groups were created. Came out swinging. I was told not on facts. Right. Did my opinion change on what I thought happened when facts started coming out? 100% yes. Has my opinion changed since I left the army group? Absolutely not. My opinion changed long before I left that group. Something has remained the same since, but my opinion is not going to solve this case. In my opinion, is also not going to be admissible in court. I know it sucks. I'm sure a lot of folks want it to be a different way. Leah Ann, sincerely curious about two things, if you could clear it up. You absolutely do not have to. Right. I read above that what you redacted was about what was said about the video of Noah's shorts being removed, correct? That's what you redacted. That doesn't exist. Second question, what about the 911 calls? Were certain parents called by kids at the party before the truckers had found Noah? Oh, stop doing that. Get me on. There we go. Anonymous, when did Donna ever say there was a video of Noah's shorts being removed? Yeah, I've never seen that myself. It was only Caden Pressey. And that was Justin who said he saw the video, not Donna. Oh yeah, there was that mention of Justin seeing a video. And then Michael said he heard it from a reliable source, meaning Justin and Alicia and Caden. That lie they told has absolutely nothing to do with the volunteer firefighter showing Donna a video. Two completely different stories. Donna's is factual first-hand witness, and Justin lied about seeing a video, and Caden lied, and Michael trusted them and perpetrated the lie that cops pulled shorts off. You should know it was a lie because cops would be arrested. That happened. Oh boy. I don't think Justin ever said he saw the video that Caden claimed his mum was shown. No, it wasn't made clear like that, but if I can remember, I think Justin said he saw a video, not the video. So, wow. So, Donna's seen a video, Caden claimed to have seen a video, and maybe Justin has, but they're all three different types of videos. How many bloody videos are out there? My goodness. What? Yes, Justin lied to Joyce that he saw a video. Right, okay. A claim which wasn't true. Pretending. Why would that be the case then? Specific video as in the shorts being removed? Was that lie done to back Caden Pressey up? Is that the whole point behind it? Screenshot was posted a while back. Donna never intentionally lied once. Justin ran with repeating rumours. Even to this day, he repeats false rumours after Donna saying she had gotten bad information. I'd hope people correct the information if they found it wasn't accurate, but it's not happened. Right. I can tell it's what she saw with her own eyes. A video that a firefighter took of the scene. She was always said that there was nothing nefarious about the video. Right. So we've got a good summary here, to be honest. Okay, meaning like a motion photograph, the live photo. She said it did not show anyone taking the shorts off. So, if supposedly Justin lied about seeing a video, does that mean Caden Pressey may have lied about seeing a video and a particular one? Is that the pattern? But why though? Why would Caden Pressey lie? Why would Caden Pressey want it to come across as a form of foul play or corruptness? How does that benefit anyone? What else do we have? Donna is describing the video Kathy showed Alicia when she used the words steal photo. Why are Donna's lies but everyone else can claim I was told? Donna repeated gossip she heard and didn't verify the same as everyone else, yet she is the liar. Make that make sense? It's like people are using Donna Bond as a scapegoat because it's just the easy way and it's a sense of familiarity because people don't actually know where it came from before Donna. With some regards, I guess. Donna, I'm sorry if there's any foul language. It doesn't matter. I've said some swear words myself, so I can't speak. I wanted to do this on the one that made a specific comment, but I can't find it. Hell, I may be on another post. Right, so that link there is to do with the mention with Noah's mom apologising for whatever and not being ready for AC, either Avery Combs or Ashley Chadwick, but that's 2025 if I'm correct in saying. Donna to Tyler, I'm sorry I can't find a comment where it was stated that I've withheld information from the family, so I'm going to post the link. Could be that one there. Y'all have any... What we'll do, we'll have a quick look at that maybe after this. Y'all have any more questions, take it to my page. My opinion changed long before I left the group. Right. Oh no, 30 responses. Is it going to load or is it going to crash on me? We'll try and go for it quick because I know it's quite long. You aren't throwing anyone under the bus. What's been said? What's that dodgy link? Is that in German? Oh my. I'm not clicking that. So does the video you saw really exist? The video everyone is referring to is about the clothes being removed, and that's Caden Pressey. But what she saw with the scene, nothing sinister. What I found repulsive about the video was the conversation, people speaking on assumptions of what happened and how. Right. Why don't you just ask the one we're calling Jeremiah Wilson? Okay. Carolyn, I mean absolutely no disrespect. You may not with Donna, but you have with me, with your piss poor language. Previous, I'm referring to. Donna, even Kathy herself came back and said she never had a video like that on her phone. But didn't you, Donna, say that Kathy is a bit crazy and a danger or has endangered other people in the case? So, what's your thoughts on her at this moment? Okay, it's going on and on and on and on and on. Right. You want to pause the video, you can do that if you want. I'm just, oh yeah, the voice to text. Oh boy, that one. So we're kind of getting back and forth here. What does Brooke have to do with this? I was referring to what Kathy herself said. You can pause the video, as I said. It's just because it kind of goes on a bit too much. Tyler Smith. Seems like Cassie is mad. Not everyone is angry with Donna. At least she had the balls to admit to being wrong. She admitted she was wrong, apologised to Brooke, and then approximately 2 months later did an interview with Netflix sticking to the original story about Carter's accident. So was it just a temporary apology? Interesting observation. How do you know what all Donna apologised for? Maybe that came up later about Carter's accident. Maybe things were explained about the previous car accident and she changed her mind. This Netflix interview, are we talking about the Netflix interview that was actually conducted 2 months after her apology? Or are we talking about when the videos were posted by Donna 2 months later? What I'm getting at is it possible that when Donna, before she apologised, did Donna have those interviews with Netflix and then months later decided to post them public after the apology? If that was the case, you could question and say, well, if you've apologised, then you wouldn't need to repost incorrect stuff. But if you did, you'd have to give a disclaimer and say it's outdated information. I mean, what Donna apologised for and corrected in regards to specifically the accident, the wreck, Carter Combs, Logan, them lot, that apology, that correction, at least to my knowledge and what I've seen only myself, was done yesterday, which is actually many months onwards past the Netflix. So maybe some of what was said in the Netflix interview was wrong and it was apologised for, and then other stuff was later apologised later onwards. But it's if this can be cleared up by Donna in general in the chat, that'd be appreciated, just so then the general public get to see it on a general scale. But it's an interesting observation, the timing of when things were done. Oh no, yeah, I guess what Mike's saying there, that a false claim, a test was done, people fell for it, or people stuck with it and have till this day, even though it's not correct. The Josie Robbie situation. Cassie saying, I'm so sick of, I've heard it's all Justin says, literally lies non-stop. Justin blames everything he's ever said on what he's heard from someone else. I mean, if all you do is listen into what other people say and then you recount, you repeat it, and then when it goes wrong, you just say, well, I didn't create it, it was another person. It's always avoiding a form of accountability. You might not be the creator of the problem, but you're the spreader of it, and if it's repeated, but you constantly repeat the blame game too, it does seem a bit planned out. It's crazy, the lies, fake profile accusations, paid off accusations makes you feel as crazy as they are. Maybe that's the goal. Donna's information was not correct when so many chose and still to repeat it onwards. Can we just have a quick look at this particular post on air, if it'll allow me to? Madison Rawlings. Oh, okay. Apologies if it was misunderstood earlier. It's just from memory. That's why we're looking at it right now. So this was the 17th of December 2025. Madison Rawlings, Noah Presgrove's sister. If you'd like to schedule a meeting with the estate attorneys, we would be happy to meet at their office and discuss whatever needs to be discussed, with the assurance that Jan will not be present, that Jan and her helpers will not be present. What, Fiorillo? And that they will not be privy to the information gathered. I'll sign whatever statements that's needed as long as that woman doesn't have access to it. An assurance could be made that people will no longer go after my family or question, and that once everything is confirmed, people that have been spreading misinformation and outright lying will be brought to light. I'm sorry, but it's to expect people to not be leery. This woman, with some of the tactics she's pulled, especially the last few days back in 2025. Yes, the family has chosen her to speak on Jarl's behalf, but that doesn't mean we have to trust her. I'm sorry to say this, but she does not supersede law enforcement. Her actions, whilst there's still an open investigation, doesn't apply under the Mercy's law, but that's what happens when you try and run a wrongful death in an open investigation, civil and criminal case, pose a challenge for anyone. Everything she is doing against LE investigation, but I'll gladly spend whatever time, I'll spend whatever time in jail to give Jarl what you think you need, even though we're all told not to. Madison, I'm sorry that you were put in this position. I'm so very sorry that you have to deal with the kickback. The family's representative wants to blast stuff out publicly when she doesn't have the accurate information. A lot of these lies and rumours could have been stopped. People chose to let them carry on in the hands of this woman. I would also ask that AC, either Avery Combs or Ashley Chadwick, not be present, because I'm not yet ready to apologise to her for accusing her of things someone else has done and led us to believe that it was her that done it. I'll do that in my own time. This is about justice and truth. Setting the record straight. I will no longer sit idly by and watch people be terrorised. Everyone knows my phone number. Please have the attorneys contact me, Madison. Always more than welcome to. Thank you in advance. It's time to get back. Okay, and then there's some link there which I'm not going to click on. All receipts are accounted for. Enough is enough. Right. And then what's this one? I'm going to speak, okay, level on a professional level, ethical. A lot to go through, I guess. At a time like this, it can be heavy, it can be confusing, and whilst I was going through all that, trying to memorise it, I've got it under control, okay? So no one needs to worry. I'll do the best that I can to explain it, to organise it bit by bit from what I've learned, what I know of, what I can remember, and so on. So what needs to be acknowledged first of all is what we've looked at today is on a bigger picture, and it doesn't just all link to what went down last night because of the additional topics talked about. If we're referring to the wreck, the accident with Carter, I guess Logan and them lot, we looked at that last night. It was originally talked about, or at least talked about to one person like Cassie back in 2024. Was this before or after that Netflix documentary interview? In regard to the apology which Donna made about that information, what we looked at last night, the apology, to my knowledge, was made yesterday. in 2026. Was that apology made any earlier in the past? If it was that apology before or after the so-called Netflix documentary interview where Donna talked about it, which we listened to the clip last night from back whenever it was done? If the apology, what we looked at last night, the modern one, was originally done historically before the Netflix documentary interview, it would raise questions as in, you've owned up to your mistakes, you've apologised, you've corrected the wrongs with the truth. Shouldn't you go forwards into that interview onwards and spread that new truth, that update, that correction? But from that clip of the Netflix interview, what we heard was similar or the same misinformation as in what we saw with the screenshot from Cassie's point of view with Donna back in 2024. Unless the apology that we saw last night, and that was of just recent time, was done for the very, very first time. If the apology was done for the very, very first time, specifically in regards to the wreck and the accident, clearing it up, that's after the documentary, what's already done, okay? Mistakes made in the past, around the same time as that Netflix interview, and then apologising later on. In that order, it would make sense. But what Pam Feldman Garrison is suggesting or putting out there is that mistakes that were done in the past, followed by an apology at the time, then followed by the Netflix interview, and repeating the original misinformation instead of adding in the apology and the corrected information. Under those circumstances, that is unusual and wouldn't make sense. I can understand it. What Robbie or another person was suggesting was some of what was originally said, deemed as misinformation, went into that interview because it hadn't been corrected at that point or before, but it was later. If that ties in with the wreck, the car accident, what we looked at yesterday, and Donna's response from yesterday, then that would make sense. If the other stuff was corrected and apologised, was it included in the Netflix documentary then? I've not listened to everything, as in the interviews, okay? So what we've looked at today and claims made, or from what's been suggested, if that was included in the Netflix interview, which it probably was, in what order exactly? Interesting. Let me just go with the flow, what I have here, okay? Just in general. Because we've got to look at the origins, not just at the root of all problems, but the origins before all the other layers of depth and the layers of confusion. Let's try and simplify it right here, right now. Not everything said by Donna will be by what people have told her, but a fair portion of it might. What I'm saying is, like with this so-called video of what she saw, what she was shown, and I guess it was at her house at the time, she is recalling what she remembers seeing from that footage. She wasn't there firsthand to witness it, but secondhand to watch the footage. So what she says and how she describes it based on what she can remember and what she saw to the best of her ability when watching that video is similar to Caden Pressey, recalling details even if it stands out from the crowd. People bow down to Caden and accept what Caden says, but when Donna says what she says from her point of view, people may question or push harder. Different sets of people. Interesting. But let's work from the top. The wreck, the car accident, 2 weeks or so before the party, before Noah's death, not 2 months. Donna made that correction, as we saw yesterday. Was it corrected in the Netflix interview? I don't believe so. No. Depends what order it was done. But the wreck, the accident, Donna wasn't there firsthand to see it. But as what she said last night in the live chat, things like that, those details were told to her by her family and Logan Jernigan. So at least some parts of the misinformation originally, which has since been pushed and continued by others that supposedly continued to lead a life of false truths, that whilst Donna handed that misinformation onto maybe Justin, Casey, Cassie, Michael, etc., or anyone else in between, privately or whatever, whilst the blame can fall back on Donna, as in, from the point of view of someone that has listened, not me literally, but I'm talking in third person as if it was someone else back then. From the point of view of an individual that may have heard it from Donna at the time, believing it's nothing but the truth, and then later being told or finding out it's wrong or BS, and then they're like, I've been lied to. I mean, yes, I'm spreading misinformation and I'm telling more people about it, but at this point now, with knowing that it's wrong, well, it wasn't me that said it. I didn't create it. It's Donna. It's Donna. And that's what people will say. And yet it does trace back to Donna. But did Donna create it all to begin with? No. Was it all made up to begin with? No. She is simply repeating what people before her had told her. Just like how the pattern and the cycle goes onwards within the case, the community, and much more. Under those circumstances, it shouldn't be that difficult in regards to just that stuff. I'm not talking about collectively, but the things that I've looked at and how she replied yesterday. Right? You put aside the Netflix documentary and the timing of that aside for now, and you just base it off the food chain, the cycle of what Donna once said. She was fed false information, whether it be done as in actual lies to cause damage to the case or wrong innocent people, or if it was recklessness, acting on emotion, impulses, not doing their research originally. It appears that Donna has got into some messy situations since, has received all of the flack, became the scapegoat for a lot of things, as in people onwards that have continued to spread that information, which is wrong. And when they've been called out, they've just pointed the finger back to Donna and said, well, that's where I got it from. It's their fault. It's their problem, not mine. So it falls back on Donna's hands, and she's to blame for it all in regard to certain events and misinformation. But as like what Donna said, it was her family, it was Logan Jernigan that passed it on to Donna in the first place. So Donna isn't to blame for all that. Without being too harsh, it would be Donna's family and Logan to blame for misinformation. And if it stems back to them before Donna, if they're the originators, was it misinformation or was it disinformation done on purpose to cause confusion or harm? Or was it just an accident? Was it impulsiveness? Was it like what Donna did, not checking the facts, not researching? So, similar behaviour and personalities. And in some ways, maybe Donna didn't question at the time because emotionally had that trust and belief in her own family and family of family that they would be reliable enough because of them being close. So there was no need to question them or their ability, just to agree with it, go along with it, and then tell Justin, tell others, tell the young page, tell whoever. And then eventually Donna finds out what she was originally told by her people was wrong. So it makes her look bad because Donna didn't give a source clearly, at least from what I know of or what I've seen. I could be wrong. That's why giving a source can protect yourself if it does backfire or go wrong. But maybe Donna didn't want to get anyone in the limelight or to take the flak, but she's willing to take it all if it does go wrong, even though she didn't anticipate it to go wrong at the time. Like a protective mechanism. Protect people that you're close to or care about, even if it means you take all of the damage, for example. But, if there was clear communication at some point, and I mean clear communication about what Donna says about receiving misinformation from previous people, meaning she didn't create it, well then under those circumstances, anyone beyond Donna in the food chain that listened to her and was told wrong stuff, if they did their research onwards or they found what Donna had to say as in an update, they should have updated it themselves, but they haven't. It's almost like lagging behind or stuck in the past. Why would people be stuck in the past? One simple explanation could be if Donna apologizes and gives updates on her own Facebook page and not in the groups, who's going to know? How many people are going to think, right, I need to go on Donna's Facebook profile to check the updates? If people don't think, then people won't act. And if people don't act, they won't change their ways, and they won't change their ways because they don't know the updates. And if they don't know the updates, they will stick with the past. The last thing that they were told is the last thing that they know. The last thing that they were told is the last thing that they believe in as the truth. If they weren't told or updated by it's a lie, or that they were told it was a lie or it was wrong, but it was by the hands of third-party people or representatives on behalf of Donna, they're likely not going to shift their stance or change in their mindset because they want to hear it from the horse's mouth. And maybe the horse's mouth has already spoken, just not direct. So there is a breakdown possibly in communication. Unless Donna has screamed from the rooftops on the pages and made it very clear that she got wrong information from previous people and gave a source, then you would expect people onwards to change the narrative and correct it. And if they haven't, that's their problem. That is questionable. That is biased. But if it's simply down to poor communication, a barrier, a lack of effort, or a lack of research, as in Donna has communicated openly, but on her page, her profile, and no one or not many have considered going over to it to see the updates, how do you expect them to change their ways? It's got to go both ways. There has to be communication both ways to get that closure for those updates to come across. For Donna to receive less flack and attacks, one would have to reach out to the people that she told the wrong information about and correct her. If the changes in behaviour came about third party and not directly by Donna and not immediately, sometimes that can reinforce people on the receiving end that receive that information from Donna to double down in those false information as a false belief, but to them it's true. Why would a person double down if they find out that what Donna said, she's changed since, but they've not heard it from the horse's mouth direct and they didn't hear about it when it was fresh? They heard about it from another source or from another person. Does it make it more or less believable to the person who's witnessed Donna in the past, more so only? They're more likely to double down, because if there wasn't transparency earlier or there wasn't clear communication direct earlier, and they've got to hear or see about it second, third hand, it might not be enough to convince them, or it might push them in the opposite direction even more. Just like if just in daily life a person was cheated on and you didn't hear about it directly from the cheater, but you heard it from a friend of a friend. So it's like really second, third hand information. You're the last person to know, or you're not even treated with that much importance or honesty by the perpetrator. You find out about it through the back door, no pun intended, and then you feel even more disrespected, or you double down in your beliefs and more suspicious. You get what I'm saying? If you don't hear it firsthand, you might be more likely to double down and be more suspicious. Linking in with if Donna changes everything or most of what she said because there was a genuine reason to, but the outsiders didn't know firsthand, they see that change as an unnatural change, an unnatural force, and then if they tie anything else together as in a protective order being dropped or that going away, they may think, did Donna change her mind, her perspective on the case in other ways as well, as a means of avoiding conflict, as a means of making and bargaining a deal to avoid the protection order to get that dropped, in on conditions that she would change her stance on things and take down or go against everything that she originally claimed or said. Under those circumstances, it wouldn't quite make sense, because if Donna is saying some of the wrong information that she actually got was from her family, and even Logan Jernigan, who was a partygoer, who appeared to be the host at the party, why would Logan give any wrong information out to Donna, which would then make Logan and Carter and others look bad for drinking and driving and being reckless and coming from a party, which would only reinforce the social hosting for the Noah Presgrove case, which would only reinforce the act and the need for justice and for Logan and others to be punished. And if there was no one getting charged or anything, and that was false information as well, or under the conditions that the false information was, there was drinking at the time, false information, but there was no charge, it makes them look bad. It makes them look like they've got a slap on the wrist. It just reinforces in people's mindsets that the Noah Presgrove case, the Noah Presgrove that attended the party house with the same familiar faces, those familiar faces earlier got away with stuff. They're getting away with stuff again now. There's alcohol present again now. There's another accident again now, but it's more fatal this time round. If more action was done originally on this previous encounter, no, it would be okay this time round. But if what previously happened never happened under those conditions, it can't link to what happened to Noah Presgrove. It's completely separate. But you wouldn't know that at the time. So certain narratives would be forged and etched under those false pretenses, sticking with it, gluing with it, believing in it, emotionally being tethered and connected with it, if some believed in it to begin with, and that additional information sealed it for them, stuck in their ways. They didn't consider any updates afterwards, and if they did, it may have not been direct, and if they heard or saw it elsewhere or later, thinking Donna's changed in behaviour, so it must be suspicious, that Donna can't just simply change her mind, there's got to be more to it, and think it's deeper than it actually is. It comes down to communication. Look, even someone like me who tries to communicate or tries to be clear on my channel itself, when I've covered other cases or mysteries and I've looked at it from one side, then I've looked at it from a different side, as I could normally would, it has led to some questions and suspicions aimed at me. I covered a mystery of like a rock and a symbol in the Mojave Desert. I did a video of a keyhole and a reptilian eye, and then I did a second video months apart looking at it from a different perspective using psychology, debunking it. And because I changed my opinion, even though I did that naturally with time and logically, and critical thinking was applied and psychology was applied, I did it naturally with time, yet despite all that, despite doing it the right way and covering it from a different perspective, people were still suspicious and still questioned me and thought I was either paid off, I was shut down, I was silenced, or I was in witness protection program. Just because I looked at it from a different angle and perspective. So someone like me can be questioned like that despite being very careful and cautious. Does Donna Bond stand a chance? Likely not. Right? So, referring back to the wreck, the accident, misinformation, I guess. Created by Donna? No. Passed on to her by previous people? Yes. Origins and source? Her family and Logan Jernigan. Was it done as a mistake made? Maybe. Was it impulsive? Possibly. And Donna didn't question it because family and family are family. You'd hope to believe and trust in them without fact-checking or double-checking. It's a mistake that Donna made and probably regrets now, but she isn't the causation of all that. She shouldn't be the scapegoat for all that. If there was clear communication both ways, the people since that may still push the idea of a wreck and an accident and drinking and all that, despite Donna clearing it up, that's problematic. People are sticking with false information because it soothes their narrative, their own perspective on the case, what they think, not what they absolutely know. It's like when a person is in denial, the self-defense mechanism kicks in and a person may choose to live in the present but not quite with reality, or live in the past and not adapt to the present because a certain bubble of information, even if it's false, they keep it close to themselves and keeping it close enough in hopes that it can convince them to believe in it and still hold on to it. And whenever their little bubble is threatened by it being popped with the actual truth and reality, they resist. Some people resist the truth because that thing that they've held on to for so long, they've become so used to, and somehow emotionally have become connected with that piece or that chain of information. When it's in doubt, when it's questioned, they hold on to it like it's their baby, their project. They become too emotionally intertwined with it that when faced with the reality, they're too scared to let go, too scared to admit the truth. Either because it leaves them feeling open and raw, not knowing what to believe in, trust issues, they're scared of that. They feel like they've been lied to all this time through that. Building a rapport with someone or building a rapport with information on a certain story, becoming invested within it and then finding out it was all for nothing or it was wrong, it can leave a person exposed, and the self-defense mechanisms can kick in at times, holding on to wrong information, holding on to something which is no longer real, or holding on to something which is no longer present because it's too hard or too scary to let go because of the unknown and the uncertainty of feelings. Other ways of looking at it could just be down to biasness, as in if a person's set in their ways or believed it to be a certain way to begin with, and then they hear about information which was wrong, but they believed it was the truth at the time, it suits and fits their narrative, so of course they're going to hold on to it. Even if it turns out it no longer applies or fits, they will still use it because they're too stuck and stubborn in their own ways with their own beliefs that blurs the vision and obstructs the reality check. So that's an aspect there. And I'm only applying it to what I know of and what I've seen and heard recent. It is additional information, whether that be what we looked at today or just in general what people have heard of by Donna, and it was passed on, created by someone before Donna. It means that Donna isn't the catalyst, the creator, the causation of it all. She is just a messenger in certain areas. A messenger of misinformation, just like anyone after Donna that listened and then decided to spread it onwards and continue it. It's a chain reaction, it's a food chain. You got to link back to the origins where it started. And you know what? Some people choose not to look back at the origins. I'll be honest with you, there have been some times where I've seen resistance come to me and have a go, and I'm only reacting or analysing with what's present, and if there needs to be context, add it instead of complaining. What people have done is start attacking or threatening me, but the reality is you need to target the root of all problems or the root of all evil. If you go after an extension of something, it will not end it. You need to go back to the beginning, the origins of where it grew. Okay? You think of a tree, the roots, you got to dig deep down to the core to cut it completely. If you target a branch, it will simply grow back in other ways. You take off a leaf, it will regrow back. And so will that misinformation as it continues on. You want it to stop completely, you've got to find where it started, the origins, make adjustments, make changes, try and get it down. You got to, not literally, but you've got to cut that tree down, you've got to do it from the roots, the very bottom, because if you only cut so much off halfway up, it will just continue growing. You've got to take it down from the bottom, from the roots, literally. So like with people and the chain of misinformation, going after the messengers will not stop the problem, but going after the originator, the person that created it in the first place, or the person that started the rumors, the claims in the first place, or the person that acted on impulse, lack of control, taken over by emotions, and they passed it on to Donna. They are the problem, or you could consider them the problem. They started it all off. That's where you need to go to first and foremost. Not be going after the messengers. You take one messenger out, another one will grow, another one will show up. You know what I'm saying? It's like when there's images online, you want one taken down, you take down a copy of one, more spread and duplicate. The worm effect, you've got to go back to the original, the originator of the website, the original person that posted or leaked something. And I think people will be able to relate here. For those that like to talk about default fake, more so fake accounts and profiles, well, when it came to certain cases previously, you know why I didn't block lots of fake profiles is because if you block a fake profile, they will simply return back under a different account, a different username. So it's like the worm effect. You cut a worm in half, then two are now formed. You're duplicating it. You deal with the problem, then you duplicate and multiply the problem by more. What good does that do? Keep it contained, keep it as it is, keep it natural, so then at least you can monitor naturally the fake accounts or the dodgy people. You start blocking, removing them, it'll only double down and confirm with them that it works, got a reaction, so now they can hit harder, try harder, and create more problems for you. Sometimes it's best not to react, because if you do react, it'll just create more issues. So, you've got to look at it in different ways. Okay. As you know, just to refer back to Logan, if Logan had mentioned any wrong information about the wreck, the mention of alcohol, the mention of a party, all of that, it turned out it wasn't true, why would Logan purposely make that up? That's the only odd part, isn't it? You'd think they'd be protecting themselves further, pleading their innocence. And it just so happens that pleading their innocence is actually parting in line with the truth of in not drinking. Then why not just say it like that? Why make it sound worse than what it actually is, when it would actually make you look worse as a person and the people involved? So maybe it wasn't Logan that said all that, but more so Donna's family, maybe. Just because it was mentioned in the same sentence. If that can be cleared up by Donna, that'd be appreciated. Then, as in the video situation, that'll be more so from what Donna describes based on what Donna saw firsthand, not firsthand present at the time, but firsthand in seeing some kind of documented media. Okay? And you can only describe and say what you saw and what you can remember, just like how Caden Pressey supposedly did. The Caden Pressey situation is a little bit unusual. However, the treatment which Caden has gone through, some could say it's fair and others could say it's unfair. But those that support or defend Caden may not have the same leniency towards Donna or other people when they describe watching something that they saw. I mean, Donna describing the video, and I'm only saying this based on what I know and what I don't know, how Donna described the video in the past, has her interpretation and description of it changed drastically since, or has that remained a constant? If it's remained a constant, that would be a positive. But if her outlook on the situation from suspicious to no longer suspicious has changed, that's also understandable, depending on what you learn in the background. And it might be based on how I've interpreted it myself, as in, what came first, the shoes or the shoes after? If the shoes came first and then the no shoes came after, could just be because the police took the possessions items away to be tested. And Donna saw the after effects of that from the volunteer firefighter. Wouldn't be that big of a deal. Though, if it's the other way around, then yes, it would be considered foul play. Or you could argue it's foul play. Very simple. But people don't consider the other side, do they? People consider the worst case scenario. People consider the suspicious side, the foul play side, to justify why it is the way it is based on how Donna described it and not a more innocent, lenient way. That itself is a microcosm of the bigger problem picture. People are either set in their ways or they just don't consider a different perspective. And some of those people, at times, may have the cheek to say Warlight Ref is biased when they themselves jump to conclusions, use a tunnel vision, obtuse one-directional linear approach, neglect the other sides and perspectives, and think everything that goes a certain way must be bad, must be evil, must be strange, and not think there could be a bit more of an innocent explanation behind it. I've looked at it from both ways today, and I've even looked at it in between, as in it can be determined ultimately by the timestamp of that video. If it's much earlier on, before police got there or before the authorities and certain ones got there, then yeah, could be considered foul play. If it's much later on, when police have already been there, the ME's already been there, maybe items were taken away by then, and Donna saw the after effects, right? That's how you conduct it and give that full perspective. And I'm giving this perspective, right, with on the spot. Let me just make that very clear. It's on the spot, it's raw. We've got stupid neighbours next door with a yapping bitch of a dog. We've got planks outside, almost like a version of wood, nailing a shed or something. Noise letterbox going in the background, trying to distract me, and I'm still locked in, right? Still functioning, or at least trying. Anyway, what other stuff do we need to mention? The other stuff. If there's any other information which I've not looked at or not know about, the remainder of what other people probably know more about, where did that come from? Was Donna told that? Did she correct it later? What was corrected with what was relevant to what I looked at last night was all to do with the wreck and the incident, right? That's one thing. There's a lot more stuff, I guess, which I've not looked at. Donna may have apologised, but that might have been more in the past. Okay, so we need a follow-up, similar to what was done last night, and if Donna's able, then we continue this until it's resolved, if need be. But, you know, the idea of in certain circumstances, if there's misinformation, if it's been cleared up since, but people continue to repeat it, that is a problem. And it's understanding why people do that. And sometimes, psychologically speaking, it can be down to emotions, denial as well. And on a separate theme on the sideline, kind of tying in with what I mentioned last night about people being in a rock and a hard place when they just simply don't want to cause any trouble. They want to be present, they want to support, and they just don't want darkness. People like that can have mindsets of conflict and confusion at a crossroad. What do I mean by that? During these true crime cases, it can get heated, it can get tense, there can be drama, it can be quite raw, it can be unfiltered. Regretful words and lines may be said at times, and other moments it can be quite intense, directional, confrontational, whether that be exchange of words, insult lines, ridicule, or snappy defensive behaviour. Is it all needed and necessary? Probably not, but it can be overruled by emotions at times, right? So whether it be what I'm on the receiving end of or what other people are on the receiving end of, the lightness or the people, individuals, people out there, wherever they are, that see the best in people, think of the goodness before the darkness, can't consider the darkness in people for whatever reason that may be. When they are faced with darkness or unkind people, it can leave them scratching their heads, wondering, how is it even possible for someone to be unkind in certain circumstances? Why are people like that? It just doesn't make any sense whatsoever. It's just not necessary. You know? Based on my perspective, what I would say is, if there are times where people are unkind or nasty or harsh, sometimes it can fall in with a level of displacement. Psychologically speaking, displacement is where they may be dealing with stresses and issues in daily life, in real life, or even online digitally. They could be stress, they could be tense, they could be angry, frustrated, sad, whatever. And then they take those emotions out as a form of displacement and utilize it incorrectly towards people that don't deserve it. It's a matter of being wrong place, wrong time, with a person who's dealing with a lot which is invisible to everyone else. That's a form of displacement, and that's one reason as to why people can be unkind to others unexpectedly. It doesn't justify everything, and it doesn't justify everyone, because there are other people out there that are twats and are pricks, and that's just who they are. But people like that and people who can be unkind, that can be more deep-rooted, psychologically speaking, due to the past, whether that be childhood, whether it be the primary or secondary caregivers and the environment that they were brought up in. Nature versus nurture, more so nurture, unless the nature being, and biologically speaking, how they were born and the genetics, and if there's any psychological issues or defects within which impacts their mindset, their reactions, their impulses, and makes them act out. If they've got higher aggression levels, if there is a condition that they've got and it can't be controlled that well, or they don't know about it, then that's unfortunate. But maybe for most part, it can be the nurturing aspect, as in how they're brought up, the pre-operational, the concrete stages of development, attachment as a child, their learning within the world and around them, their developmental skills, their mindset, functionality, the common sense factor. Are they brought up in a healthy, stable environment with primary or secondary caregivers? Are they brought up in a toxic environment and a form of instability, a lack of reassurance? So they're always fending and fighting for themselves, always having to be on the defensive side. It's all they know. It's learned with time, and they apply it in the future. So they take it out on the wrong people in the future. They deem the past as the present and the present as a threat as it was in the past. So that's how they treat people the way they do. We can get deeper, but maybe it's too much, okay? But I just wanted to give you a bit of a backstory as to why people can be unkind. As for people being kind, that can just be natural, as in a person's natural traits, personality. It makes them a good person and who they are. Some people can be extra kind and extra nice and extra comforting and helpful and kind if they've dealt with a lot in the past, and they've used certain aspects of survival and growth and de-escalation and fawning and people-pleasing to make the situation easier, because it's easier to do that, to put other people's feelings and thoughts first before one's own, if it means de-escalating or avoiding conflict or arguments. And something like true crime, where it can get very tense and heated, and there can be arguments, if you don't like that type of stuff, you'll probably avoid it. And by avoiding it can be come across as being positive, kind, and beyond. Self-protection, defense mechanism, it's understandable. But it all comes in different ways and shapes. It's not linear, and it doesn't apply one way for everyone. But I just wanted to give you a little bit of an aspect, as in an insight, as in why things are the way they are and why they can be. If you want to apply it in the future when dealing with resistance, it might help in some way to protect yourself or to ease the stress in the moment, as in why some people are knobheads and why other people aren't. Not going to justify everything, but it's just a bit more depth behind it all. I think we'll leave it there for now. As said, I've not looked at everything in regard to the Donna Bond situation and all that was said in the past, because I wasn't around from the very beginning and I was doing my own stuff as well. I'm just doing the bits that I can and what I know of, bit by bit, and trying to contain it. So I hope the video did help in a way and it made some sense. It'd be appreciated if you hit the thumbs up, the like button, maybe share the video too. And if you're on mobile tablet, hit the hype button. Hopefully this video gets awareness and the activity and the energy continues on, like what we saw last night and days before. That energy, that presence in the chat is much appreciated. And of course, those that watch passively in the background and those that watch on replay, whatever, it's all good. With that being said, we'll leave it there for now. Thanks for watching, goodbye, and good night for now.